Hello and welcome to our channel. My name is Eno, and this is my aunt Tiffy, and this is God equals reality. We are starting with the subject of made from dust or evolved from apes. Our channel likes to describe God in reality and show God in reality as He is all around you, um, and applying His knowledge, His word, and everything of daily life to our reality because God is reality.
Exactly. And just like when God created us, how important it was for him to save us to the last, to the end, because he made sure that we had everything that we needed before we got here.
Yes, the earth provides us everything we need, and we are everything that the earth is made of as well. And we're here to show you that in a quick presentation.
Exactly. And just to describe, would you like to go ahead and describe this first picture?
Well, yes, as you can see, on the left it says made from dust is showing Jesus showing making a baby out of clay because clay is a form of earth and dust as well. But just to note that God made a full grown man, even though that is a nice picture, decided to put it on there, but God made a full grown man out of the earth, not a baby. Still a
Exactly.
nice picture. And
Exactly.
on
Okay.
the right, would you like to explain that picture, Tiff?
Um, of course, according to evolution, they are trying to say that we evolved from apes. And, in school, I always wondered, like, okay, so because, of course, this was approved to be taught in school, K through 12. Um, but I always wondered, so what made them stop? Because we still got apes. So
Yeah,
it's like, we got
over
enough
critical
men,
thinking.
we got enough people on Earth. Let's just stop and go ahead and stay apes.
Right.
You
No,
know, that's
so,
that
so
always that never made sense to me.
right, right,
But
right.
yeah.
I,
Mm-hmm.
it made sense. Now I'm not gonna lie, it made sense to me as a kid until I brought that home to my parents, and they quickly let me know that there was a difference between being made by God and coming evolved from an ape. And then I started dissecting the picture on the right. So, what the theory of evolution is telling you with this picture is that the most lowest life form is at the beginning, which is the chimpanzee at the bottom, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
thinking life form is the most evolved, which is the Caucasian man at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And what it's presumably telling you to believe is that the dumbest version of the evolution and the smartest version of the evolution are
Are the
the
same.
only two that survive. Now, to my note, chimpanzees are not that dumb. They actually are quite smart and can learn things from humans and actually mimic certain traits of humans. So they're not that dumb. So that leads me to believe that the other evolved species in the middle couldn't possibly have been that dumb. So why did they fade off and we don't really have too much of any trace of them? But
Mm-hmm.
the dumbest and yet what's supposed to be believed as the smartest are the only ones that flourished. And the only explanation they have to that is habitat. But if these were becoming people, you can Google that 98% of extinct species because of habitat is because of people.
Mm-hmm.
So how are these evolutionary species becoming people? And they're quite smart because chimpanzees, like we just said, are not that dumb.
Mm-hmm.
How
Mm-hmm.
did they not evolve due to habitat when it's people that cause animals to lose habitat mostly? But they're
Exactly.
it just it's a jumbled up mess. But we're gonna get into it.
Yeah. And why do we still have apes? That's the biggest question. If we came from apes, why are they still existent?
Yes, why aren't they further evolving?
Yes. Like what
As,
is it that made them stop all of a sudden?
yes, as are the other species that they show on the evolutionary chain. There are a lot of the species still existed. Why didn't all the fish grow
Mhm.
legs? Why did
Yeah,
why didn't all the monkeys grow up? Why didn't all the other fish why did only certain fish grow wings and
yeah,
it doesn't
crazy.
it doesn't have a consistency, but it uses certain similarities, and the fact that they've been teaching it since we were yet high is what
Hmm.
makes it hard to kind of refute, and the fact that you've been hearing that things have been around for millions and millions of years. But we're here to start at a very simple point. Is
Hmm.
man is there evidence that man is made from dust? Or
Correct.
yeah,
Yes.
or is there more evidence that man is made from apes? We're here to discuss that. So let's get into it, Tiff.
Okay. Let's go to look at that one.
Mm,
So
now this,
this one
hmm
is very interesting. Just because we know, like I said earlier, that God created everything dealing with, the first day of creation and the sun and the moon and the plants and the animals. He made the sea creatures and the land creatures before he made us. All of these things were made first, including all these plants and vegetables.
hmm
Reason being, right here, the carrot and how it resembles the eye. Carrots have always been good for the eyes. The brain resembling a walnut, and grapes with lungs,
yeah,
hearts, tomatoes
and each one of these actually are the most beneficial food for the organ they look like.
on purpose.
Yes, that is a distinct evidence of a design, an intelligent design.
Hmm.
And might I add that when he said he created us, he created all of these things from the earth. Once he created the earth, he created all of the plants and the animals, and he said, let the earth bring forth. So all of these things are created from the earth, just like he says we are.
Hmm. Yes, and he provided everything that we needed to make sure that all of these organs and all of these parts of our body stay healthy and good because he he made sure of it by creating these fruits and these vegetables for us to know and understand what it is that's going to keep them going and functioning correctly.
Right. Like and because food is medicine.
Hmm.
Food is medicine. All of everything that you need and use in your daily life either comes from a plant or an animal.
Hmm.
Not one thing that you use in your daily life does not come from a plant or an animal or a substance of the earth.
Exactly, and this is the prime example
And
that
it definitely, all of our foods and medicines come from plants and animals.
hmm yeah, goes to show that he says, I'm giving you everything you need before I create you on this earth. So it's ready already. Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, because he gives us everything that we need.
Yeah, it's all that we need, but it's also the earth needs us because he
Hmm.
also said he created the garden and it needed a man to till it, to keep it. So the
Exactly.
earth also needs us. This is also a lie of evolution that we are destroying the very planet that feeds us and that we came from.
Hmm.
I like
Exactly.
it's a complete system. Our waste even becomes providing needs and minerals for the earth to bring forth life again.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's a complete system.
Yeah, because he does everything on purpose and for a reason. So it's
Yeah.
not just something that just happens.
Purpose is a very big part of God's character and can repeatedly shows itself. It
Yes.
is an important component of intelligent design. It's the intelligence, the very presence of intelligence in a design promotes the need to have purpose.
Hmm.
Like, what is it? What are you using the intelligence for if not purpose?
Exactly. Hmm. Most definitely. All right. So there we have there. Um, then the other thing, of course, that um, I just, I love this picture just because it was a beautiful night,
It
a
was.
nice cool night. I like that cooler weather. Yeah, so it was a nice cool night looking up at the trees and said, you know what? He even made similarities with nature when it comes to our body.
Right.
And of course, this is my favorite, one of my favorite pictures, but I think this one is more of a reality.
So to relate, you see the tops of the tree branches relate to the exact figure and symbol and how the design of lightning is created. So the design and patterns are exactly the same here.
Exactly, which
Not
also resembles our veins.
mm-hmm,
Hmm.
the veins on a human arm
Yes,
and
like
our
that.
yeah. So these
Hmm.
designs also go very together and show more that we're interconnected to this system known as Earth, proving that
Everything's connected. Hmm.
everything in Earth system is absolutely connected. And while
Exactly.
we're on veins, before we get off, as far
Uh-huh.
as people questioning one thing about God being all knowing, I'd like to point out that I also think the tree structure and veins also represent a good picture of when people say, well, how did God know this? Well, didn't he know this before? And didn't he know this? And why did he allow these things to happen? Well, I believe veins are also pictures of free will, and so to speak. Lifelines,
Hmm.
roots, and veins, because roots are also a picture of this. They look just like veins, they look just like lightning, just like tree branches, but they're
Hmm.
underground. But these
Hmm.
things are also, I think, a picture of our choices in life. Like they're a picture of lifelines. And this is in every situation we have, we can make choices. And they say, well, how does God know everything we're going to do? Because he can see every choices you can possibly make in every situation. And I believe it looks a lot like veins to him. Like there are pathways we could take.
Yes. And the thing is that, we've had a choice since the garden, you know. He had us in this beautiful man in this beautiful garden and still gave us a choice by putting that tree of knowledge of good and evil in there. So even though he said, thou shalt not eat, just the fact that it was there in the garden and accessible, that was him still giving us a choice. Are you going to listen to me? Are you going to obey? Or are you going to be tempted and fooled and deceived?
Right. So he can
So always yeah, it's either wrong or right.
right. And he can always see every single choice we would possibly make that would lead us to the destination that he has designed because he has everything written and everything's already written where it's supposed to go. But each one of our choices can lead us to different parts of that path, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
And what's also important is that man, the created being of man, um, we're the only ones that really have that choice. We're the ones that have that free will. Because when you think of animals and you know um, other created beings, they obey. They
for
do
the
exactly
most
what they're supposed to do.
They be what they're designed to be in nature. They don't create as we do. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah,
That
we
led into
create.
that one. Mm-hmm.
We definitely create things out of God's creations as far as they more use the substance that they were designed to use.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then here we have what's interesting segment. And so, have you ever thought about why a school of fish can move all together in unison in this way under the water without running into each other, and they actually move like this in sequence underwater? But then there's also a whole nother animal in the air that can do the exact same thing. And
Oh
these
yes.
animals have never met.
Uniform. Mm-hmm.
These animals
Uniform.
have these animals have never met. They're in totally different habitats, totally different
Mm-hmm.
parts of the world, totally different hemispheres. One swims, one flies. They don't go into the same element.
And
And
it's
yet,
not by accident. It's by design.
it's all by design.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are animals on land as well
Mm-hmm.
that are
Exactly.
able and know how to do the exact same movement, yet they don't know these other two species. They don't dwell together, but they have the exact same idea of how to move together in unison.
Mm-hmm. Let's
That's
see.
the design.
Mm-hmm.
Right here we have chopped wood. If you look closely, you'll see that there's a pattern on the wood. There's a distinct pattern and a bit of color to where that pattern is also repeated in flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Like though the first picture was chopped wood, this is chopped
Mm-hmm.
steak.
Exactly. Yeah. All of it's a pattern and it's consistent.
And God refers us to trees bearing fruit. And another
Mm-hmm.
thing we have in common with trees is that trees also grow leaves and
Mm-hmm.
things that are similar to our hair. We can trim our hair just like we trim leaves and they'll grow right back.
Mm-hmm.
And plant,
Different styles.
each plant represents a different hair type. There is a plant texture, a leaf pattern for every hair type that we have in humankind
Mm-hmm.
and in animal kind.
Exactly. Yes. And there we go. Very different. That definitely looks like something I've seen at the hair store.
Yeah. Now you can put that right on and walk out.
It even looks like it's sitting on one of
On a
those
head.
heads, right?
Yeah. Even looks like sitting on a person's head, like they looking the other way, like you waiting on them to
Yeah.
turn around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hmm. So, I mean, in conclusion, y'all, God does not do anything by coincidence. There is no such thing as coincidence in Christ Jesus. He does everything on purpose and for a reason. There is no big bang that all of a sudden we just start, evolving from apes to human beings. And we have all this combustion of, intelligence and understanding. Um, you know, he
It,
does things on purpose and
that's
for a
another.
plan. Hmm.
It's the Big Bang. It's a part of evolution if people are not aware of that. But this also makes you think like, why would the Earth be so interconnected as a system, showing how connected we are to it as well, versus, um, there being two atoms that started the entire solar system that lopped together and created the whole solar system. So if
Hmm.
Earth is so interconnected of a system, then why is outside of Earth so different if all of it came from two atoms?
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, not to mention, we forgot to mention about the water and how our bodies are made up majority of water, just like the earth. you know?
Yeah, these are things
Yeah,
we're going to continue to
yeah,
cover in our next segment. We hope
exactly.
you like this. Like and subscribe for more. This is God equals reality.
And have a good evening. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.